Hello, good day, and welcome to the second week of graphic design using Photoshop with LTech Academy. My name is Dominic Lawrence Sena, and I will be instructing as well for today. Alright, so let's take a look at what we will be learning this week throughout. So for this week, these are what we have on ground. We'll be looking at the introduction to Photoshop, and then we get familiar with our Photoshop design tools, and then after that we get into our first design project and second design project, and these are what we will be learning for this week. So in today's class there will be two videos. One will talk about introduction to Photoshop, and the second we'll talk about getting familiar with Photoshop design tool. Now for the second video, it's one of our videos from our resource videos, so let's keep expecting that. Alright, so let's get started. So first of all, I would like you to open up your Photoshop. Okay, so you should have something like this if you are using 2022, or you should have the normal welcome screen as I explained in the previous class. Alright, so I will get started by first of all creating new, going to file, select new, and go to this width pixel. Remember the sizing of your workspace and the resolution as we discussed in the last class, and I will give the file name introduction. Okay, so I will maintain RGB color, and then I will tap the create icon. Alright, so this is what we have. Probably your background should have white. If you recall, in the last class we changed it to red. That's why my own is red, so I will change it to white. Alright, so in today's class we'll be looking at introduction to Photoshop, and then there are a few things we need to set in order to ensure that you flow with me and then we don't have any problem getting along. So first of all, before we begin, I want you to come to Windows here, go to workspace, and ensure that your on is on essential default. Now clicking the essential will give you the exact arrangement of my Photoshop screen. This is so that I don't do something and then you won't see the same thing outside. Like I said in the other class, Photoshop is a very big software. It has other uses apart from graphic design. So, and also after selecting the essential, still go back to Windows workspace and say reset essential. Okay, this will reset your workspace to default. So regardless of the version you are using between 2018, 19, 21, 20, 22, you should have a similar arrangement as I do with my own here. So you should see layers, channels, and paths. Ensure that you click on layers here. Maybe if your own is like this, click on layers, it will move it up like this. Alright, so that's the first thing I want you to learn, is how to reset your workspace to default. And then this other place, this is where you switch between the type of views for graphic and web, 3D works, painting, motion, photography, etc. Alright, so going further, now there is one important thing we will need to learn in Photoshop, as it is one of the most important, if not the important thing in using Photoshop. This is layers. Okay, layers, we will learn about layers. So we are starting with layers. Layers are found on the right side of your screen. Okay, this is where they are, where my mouse cursor is. You will see layer. So by default, when you open a Photoshop, you should see at least one layer. Even if you are opening it as an image, you are opening an image, you should see a layer named background. Okay, this is how Photoshop is programmed to start, and by default the first layer until unlock, it's always locked. That's why you will see a lock screen beside there. Okay, so just check with your Photoshop to ensure everything is in order like I said in my own here. Alright, so we will proceed. Now, what are these layers? What are these layers? Okay, it is very important we understand what layers are used for. Okay, now layers are used to separate different elements of design. Okay, and these are what layers are used. Layers, let me try and put it in simple terms. They are just like a board. Let me just say, now this background layer you are seeing is just like a table, so anything you put on top stays on top of the table. And this is why you can have multiple layers. The one that is below means it's the background, it's the last thing on the floor, so all other things are on top of it. Now I know it's not easy really to understand layers in your first introductory class, but based on the fact that throughout the course of Photoshop you will be working with layers, it is usually expected along the course you will get better example of understanding on what layers is really about. Alright, so there are many ways to create layers. Okay, let me start with adding layers before I explain how they work. I will start with adding layer. First, if you look at the tools here, you will see a plus icon here. It means add layer, and when you add layer you will see layer 1 here. Alright, now let me explain what are these things beside the layer. Now these are visibility icons. That's why if you stay on top of it, you will see that the brief note on what it does function. You will see that indicates layer visibility. What this means is that if you click here, you hide the layer. As you can see, this white background, when I untick this eye dot, it disappear and I'm left with transparent background. Okay, that's what it does. Now Photoshop layers are like sheets of stack octets. Okay, you can see through transparent area of a layer to the layers below. What this means is that if you have a layer that is covering just a little space, it allows you to see what is under. For example, let me add a layer, a rectangular layer. Okay, so I have a rectangular layer with this color blue. As you can see, it's on top of this white layer, that is the background. Okay, but it still allows me to see the white because the sizing of the layer I added was this extent. It's just to this extent. It was to this extent. That means anything outside the main area you draw the layer allows you to see what is under. That is what I mean. They are like sheets of stack octets, okay, that you can see through transparent areas. Now this is the transparent area of this rectangular layer because it does not have any content at this area, so it makes it transparent. It's the same thing with adding. Let me add another layer of cycle. Okay, so I have another layer of cycle. Let me change the color red. As you can see, it does not stop me. The red cycle, the red layer, even though on the layer arrangement it's on top of the rectangle 1, that is ellipse 1, still I can see the rectangle 2, rectangle 1 under, because all the other areas are visible. Okay, so this is what we should understand by layers. So this background is like the table. Then when you have a table and now carry a rectangle and I keep it on top, now if this rectangle is not filling the entire table, that means I should see other aspects of the layer of the table. Now it's the same theory with layers. Okay, so I then carry a cycle. Let me add a text to make the description easier and understandable for you. So let's say, so this is background layer, that is the white. Okay, so we have the white as background layer. Okay, so and then this rectangle becomes layer 2. So the rectangle becomes layer 1, sorry. That is the first layer also apart from the background, on top of the background, and then this one becomes layer 2. Okay, let me not confuse you. This becomes layer 3. This becomes layer 2 because on the arrangement it's layer 2, and then this background layer is layer 1. Okay, so if you look at them now in Photoshop, anything you add creates a layer. Okay, even text, now these text themselves are layers. That's why if you look at the layer option, you will see layer 3 with T. Now these icons are here represent which type of object is here. Now it's a text object, that's why it's T. So that's why you can see 3T here, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, and then background layer, and then under it you see this, you see this, you see this. Okay, so this white is the background layer, is the first layer, followed by this one. So this is on top of this, and then this is on top of this and this. The same theory goes with all other things there. Please follow me carefully. Layers can be a bit confusing, but like I say, you will understand more in the course of the training. Okay, so this for the first thing we'll be doing. Okay, so we have this. I will change the color to, okay, let me just create something sweet to explain layer. Alright, so I will just do something. I just want to make the thing look cool, so I'll reduce the screen. So I have direct. I will change this blue to red color. Alright, so don't worry, you get to learn all these things. So we have the first layer there, and then we have this particular one. Let me find another color for it. Alright, so okay, so far this is what we have, background layer. Okay, so let me explain how I add the text so that you don't get confused. Let me delete this one. So I have background layer. I will change the color. Now to add a text in Photoshop, very importantly, before I explain other tools, when you select the T here, your cursor change to I here. This color means your current color of text. Okay, so don't worry, you can start writing. So I will just type in the background layer. Okay, 1. I will now select the tool here. You get to learn about that tool. Is actually a select and move tool. I will resize it here. This is how you resize in Photoshop. You use the knots here, around. Okay, so I will leave it here, and now let me show you how you change text color, background. Okay, so when you have it here, you ensure you look for properties. If you are not seeing properties, you should right click here. You will see more options here. Okay, but if you reset your workspace, you should see properties. Just ensure you type on it, scroll down, and you will see color here. So I will give it white color. That is 1. Or secondly, you select the T option here. You select the text. You press Ctrl A to mark everything, and then you select color here, and then pick the color you want. Okay, so I'll pick my white again, and then you can also as well as change fonts here. Okay, and you can change fonts on the property this side as well. I prefer this option because it allows me to see the preview of how it looks. The other side actually covers it. So I have one here, and then this is layer 2. I'll leave maybe change some fonts. Okay, so in Photoshop there is what we call duplicate layer. You select the layer. On the layers, you right click, you will see duplicate layer. So I have, okay, let me show you something very important. So when you select the duplicate layer, it asks for name, so you can say layer 3. Okay, so just move up here, you will see one has left and the other one is still there, and I'll give it layer 3. Okay, so I'll reduce the size and leave it here. So now, one last important thing in this video before we look at the second part of today's class, which is the tools and how to use them and what are their uses. Okay, I say that video will be a resource video. Alright, so the next thing to do is you come to file, is save. Okay, this is what I want to show you and teach you, is how to save your work. So for the first time, if you not save your work, all the save does the same function. So we click on save. Now because there are multiple layers, it will see the file as not an image but PDS, that is Photoshop file. So what now if you are using a version like me, you will see this thing, so you have to come save on computer here. Okay, the same thing with you, but by default it will just pop up this screen if you are not using my version. Okay, so just resave the name here, that is, you know, if you just gave it a name at the start but you not save it, so I will save it, and you are seeing this is the format here as PSS. And if you want to save it as image in your version, you can click here, you will see JPG. But if you are using this 2022 version, you have to click, if you want to save it as image, you have to say save as copy. Okay, so that it will give you options for JPEG, that is picture. Now it will save the work as picture, but I want us to save the work as Photoshop file, so I will now save it. Okay, and then we are done. So the next thing I will do is close it. Okay, yes, I will say yes. Okay, ignore that, ignore all this thing. So introduction, it's already saved, don't mind me, my version of Photoshop. Alright, so it's closed. So the next thing I want to show you is how to open a save file. So just simply come to file, open. Now I'm teaching you this because eventually in the course of our work we may start a project that we may need to save it. So when you start open, it opens the location where you last save your work. This is how Photoshop does. Okay, so you navigate through locations here. I believe you are already familiar with digital literacy, and that's why when saving I didn't bother to teach you how to choose location. It's something you should know already. So I will select this introduction because that's the file I save, and I'll now click open, and as you can see, it has opened the file and where I last saved it. Okay, so please just practice the same thing. I'll give you a few minutes to practice the same thing before sending the second video. Alright, please welcome once again, do have fun. Okay, so that will be for this particular video. So in this video we've learned about Photoshop, opening Photoshop rather, resetting and selecting the necessary workspace, and then we look at layers and then saving and opening documents. There's a reason I'm listing what we've learned so far. Alright, see you in the next video. Hello and good day, and welcome to another session on graphic design using Photoshop. And my name is still Dominic Lawrence Henna, and I will proceed from where we stopped in the last class. Alright, so let's get started. Welcome to the second class of the second week. So in the last class we look at introduction to Photoshop, and then we get to know our toolbars. Alright, so in today's class we will start properly. We will begin with our first project. Okay, so we'll be designing something simple and fast. My battery is low, I'm trying to wrap up before the battery die. Alright, so for this particular class, these are what we are going to be making use of. We're making use of these two logos here, 1, 2, and which I will be sharing with you guys, or the link to get them. Alright, so I will proceed. I will begin by first creating Go into new document. Remember our steps. New document. So we'll be designing a very simple flyer as our first design. Okay, this is Photoshop, so we'll be designing something cool, unlike other courses. Alright, so maintain the resolution 3005 by 3005. Oh, let's make it the height 3007. Okay, then the width leave it at 35. Resolution maintain 3000, and then color RGB, background white, everything, we are good to go. Alright, you should have something like this. Okay, so first of all, we've already have an overview idea of our toolbar in the last class. So what I will begin is, I will begin by bringing those images we'll be making use of. Just follow me. Now, to import a picture in Photoshop, there is one simple way you can do it. You just locate your picture where where the picture is. Simply click and hold, drag it to the icon of the Photoshop here, wait for it to pop up like this. Don't release it, drag it to the screen here and then release it, and then you are good to go. Alright, so this is what we are going to be using to design. Now in graphic design, there is something that is very important. Like I told you, the course, you get to learn more about graphic design as we do the project. So when you are designing, there is something that is very important. Now if you have an image like this one that we already know the image we are going to be making use of. Let me bring the other one. The next thing to do is you ensure that the color of your work, that is your primary colors for the design, should fit or align with the color of the images. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, don't be using blue or light blue image and then you are now using an entirely odd color. Which one is odd color? You know guys, we don't know much color, but odd color. Okay. Alright, so just follow me. First of all, I will just show us two things, or one thing for start. Now I have a logo which is black and is okay, but then what I want to use is, I want to change this black to another color. Now Photoshop has a very cool features in it that allows you to replace color. So what you need to do is simply select the image, come to image here, go to adjustment. Alright, but before that, see, this is what we are going to be making use of. But the reason why this thing is not active is because your layer is currently a smart object. So what you need to do is you right click on the layer of the image and say rasterize layer. This allows your layer to be edited well. Okay, this is, with this feature, when you rasterize, you can cut out part of the layer, part of the images, make changes to it easily. So I'll go back to the same thing, and then this time around replace color is active. Alright, so the color I want to replace, I'll click here and I'll select black. It's black that I want to replace, and I'll come here for the result. I'll choose this color, or let me choose it manually. I think it should be, or let me just choose something blue and dark as well. Alright, so I'll now click on OK and I'll now type OK. Okay, so sometimes it may misbehave, but go back to it again. Let me see why the color has not been replaced. Okay, let's see, this is the black I want to replace with this color. Okay, it's actually working. Alright, so let me use another mod. Seems that one, now that's one problem. I will not pause this video or change anything just because it refused to pick, but it actually works. but I think because black and white are very odd colors, very primary, it's not easy to replace them. But I'll show us another way. Now the first way I will show us would demand us that we delete this place to be transparent. So what we are going to do is we are going to come to this erase and go to magic eraser and select the white here, and select the white here, and select the white here, and select the white here. Now it may seem it's not working. The reason why it looks like that is because there is a background here. Let me hide it. Are you seeing it has been deleted? Okay, so let me hide the background here for a while now. So go back to the image, right click on it, go to blending. There are many ways to kill a rat, Abi. So replacing black color from there from adjustment may not work, but there are other ways. So I say select the layer, right click, come to blending option, and then go to this color overlay and tick it. Okay, then double click on it, it will open this content. Now this opacity means how clear the color you are assigning should look. Okay, transparency. So I will select it and then pick the color I want. Okay, okay, and okay, cool, and we are done. All right, so this is another way to kill the rabbit. If you first throw the first stone and it misbehave, you can use this one. All right, so the next thing I will do is activate the background layer again. So we have the two images, so I will begin our design. First of all, I will resize this size something like this, LTEC, and then take it to this place. All right, just follow me. Something like this should do. It's readable and okay. I will carry this one somewhere like this, and I'll extend the sizing. Let me increase it a bit. Okay, I think this is okay. I will hold down shift to increase it by left. Okay, please, this resizing, always ensure you resize perfectly. Okay, the only way or time you resize not by not like I did now is because I want to balance the image well. Remember our balance discussion. Alright, so I will drop the logo somewhere here. Remember, we are designing something simple and cool. Alright, so I'll leave it here. I'll come to this place and then I'll add a rectangle. Click and drag. Okay, remember your class, click and drag. You can extend it, doesn't matter. What is there is what really matters. Alright, so I think this should do for me. Alright, so this is okay. Now select the rectangle tool again, then ensure you are on the layer. On your properties, there are two ways to select colors. Okay, you can either select the layer, come to properties here, you should see the options here where you see fill and stroke, or you select, ensure you select the rectangular tool. This particular place call only comes active when you are on the tool. Okay, so select the place, and this particular place, the properties will be there. I'll put this color, or rather, yeah, I think this is okay and cool. So pick that color, remove your stroke by here. This place means no stroke. Okay, and this is the size of the straw, and this is the style. It can either be straight line, dot dot dot, anyhow. And okay, let's make use of straw so that you understand more. I will select this straw here. Now if you are not seeing the options of the color you want here, just simply click here, it will open more options. And now this tool here, it's called eyedropper. That is one of the cool things about graphic design, CorelDRAW, and Photoshop. You can actually copy colors. So just click the area where you want to copy the color. Are you seeing the color is now active here? I will say okay, and then all I need to do is increase the size of the outline. I'll come to this place. Are you seeing it's appearing now? Okay, so this place means styles dot 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 or dot dot. So I'll use this one. Now I'll resize this one a little bit down because I don't want the down outline to appear. Alright, so this is what we have so far. I believe it's looking cool already. Alright, I just want to be sure its time is moving. Alright, so the next thing I will do is I'll add some text. We're almost done. Can you imagine? So I'll add some text. Let me say launch, or let's say grow. Alright, so it's too small. Let me increase the sizing so that we all know what is going on. Okay, so I think 72 should do for start. Alright, so I say grow your business. Oh god. Okay, let's pray that my battery lives up to it. Alright, so grow your business. So now there is this option on the properties. This particular place means the line spacing between the text, that is vertically. So auto, it uses it automatically, because you can customize it to where you want. So I will make it around 60 should do for me. Alright, so 60 should do. So what I will do next is I will ensure I will pick a font I like. I think I will go with regular for general, and then this particular business I will go with bold. Okay, I think this looks cooler. Okay, so we have something like this. So I will not do much more. Okay, I'll move it up a bit. We still have a few things to do. Time. Alright, so next thing I will do is I will try and add some colors. I will come to this place, this color here. Let me see if this goes well. Now, if you are good in designs, that means you are allowed to play around with colors. But for starters, if it was just me designing, I could actually mix a lot of colors. But for starters, here all the colors we'll be using are the colors within this image. So I'll click this place. Okay, so I'll click this one and say okay, and then this particular place I'll give it this color. I'll make it a bit darker so that it will be readable, and then this place I will give it this color. Alright, so I think we are good to go. Okay, so the next thing I want you guys to do is to add another small rectangle here. Okay, just here. Now this place, on your properties option, this place means the curve. Okay, so you can make it like 50 to see how it will look. You realize that it's curved a little bit more. So I will use this particular color. Let me use this color. Alright, so I think this should do. So let me view it more. So I was talking about how to curve the edges, how to make the edges of your shape curve. So it's in this place, it's under the properties. When you select maybe 100, let's see 100. Are you seeing it? This is how 100 looks like. Alright, so I'll use 100. I'll select my text, and the text will be okay. So I'll reduce the size to like 48. I'll leave it here. It's still big. I'll reduce the line spacing here. Now this one in line spacing vertically, and then this one line spacing horizontally. I'll reduce it to 36. Okay, 36 is okay, and I'll now give it white color. Alright, so we're almost done. Let me try and speed up because of time and battery here. So the next thing is I'll just say the name of the business. Let me just say with okay, let me give the color black so that you see what I'm actually writing. So with LTech design. Oh, let me use one of my guy here with Vigo. I hope that's it. Vigo, right? Alright, so what you need to do now is just to replace your logo. Okay. Alright, he's actually one of my cool guy here with us, very serious as well. So the next thing I will show you is we've already looked at duplicating. I will duplicate this text layer and say services. That is the name of the layer. Okay, so it's still there. Just drag it down, and I'll now go to fonts and use regular. I'll reduce the size to 24 actually. Okay, so what I will just use is we are starting beginners class, so we'll learn other things. So for now I'll just say logo design, brand identity design, alright, so don't mind the space and I will fix it. So the next is business flyers, business banners. Now if you realize that what all I've been doing is I'm using business terms. Now that is one of the things you need to learn about business. Now that's not all we do here, but for example, the reason why I use business is because from the main design here, that is the main flyer, I say grow your business, so it has to, everything has to be related to business. That is one of these, this is one clue to marketing. Okay, when you are talking about grow a business, there shouldn't be wedding card, birthdays, etc. You can design general one that contains that, like do your graphics or for your graphic design or blah blah blah. Okay, I'm talking about the caption here. So business cards I will use as the last one. Alright, so I say forget about this. I will Control A to mark everything and then come here and use automatic. Okay, so automatic fixes my issues. Okay, so I will just do something like this, move this one up, move this one up, and then I will duplicate this one again. Okay, so I will come here and say services. Okay, services. I can actually choose to give it, so I may choose to do something for fun here. I'll come to this layer. I want to add another rectangle, but I want it to be behind here, so I'll just click the layer before the services and select my rectangle tool and do something like this. Okay, these are clues to designs that you can take note of. So I can now go and be doing something like this. Okay, for the text I can choose white now, and then for the size, we will need to reduce the size. Definitely 30 will do, and then line spacing, let's leave it 50, or let's say 100. Alright, so I'll just increase the size a bit, move this one up a bit. Alright, so this should go with this. Or let me just move this entire thing up a bit. This one a bit, so that this one too a bit. Alright, so this is our journey so far. So the next thing I will do is I'll just do something cool. If there is time, I'll do something cool. I'll add another rectangle here at the center. Okay, something like this. Okay, let me bring it this side. Actually, let me bring it this side. So I'll come and curve it 100. Yeah, 100 is okay, not bad. So for color, I may choose to use white, and I may choose to give it outline again to make things cool. So for the outline, I can go for this, and then maybe go for size 10. Let's see, 10. Size 10. 10 is too small. Size 20 should do. Alright, so we have 20 here. So this place, actually I left it intentionally. So what we will do is that I will add another icon. Sorry, I will send the icons to you as well. Okay, so don't worry, the icons will, all the icons will be sent to you. All the icons will be sent to you. Now this is basically all we'll be doing for today. So for just in case my system died, the remaining thing left there, I can leave it as an exercise for you guys. Okay, so what is left is just for you guys to add icons here. Please, you have to submit this particular exercise. By the way, now we've reached a stage where there will be a lot of submission. Okay, so you have to submit this particular file once you are done. So you have to add icons, and social media handler is just LTech Designs. So see you in the next class, which is on Saturday. Alright, so I'm doing this video just in case my battery can cover up to show you how to add the social media icons. Okay, so I'm doing this video just in case my battery is not. So I will begin with Instagram. I'll pick the icon, I'll come here, I will resize it and drop it here, and then resize it again, drop it here. I think this is okay. Okay, so I'll come and look for Twitter. Alright, so I'll bring in Twitter as well. I will drop it somewhere around here as well. Alright, so there will be spacing for right up, so I'll just bring the last one. Let me use YouTube. Okay, so I'll bring in YouTube, I will resize it. If you observe, I'm resizing it perfectly. Okay, I'm not holding any key, but in some Photoshop, if you are dragging without holding anything, it uses to shift, enter, left and right. And if you have your Photoshop version is that type, just hold down shift and resize. Okay, if you hold down shift and resize, it will resize without obstructing the original balance. And then if you want to obstruct the original balance in the version that is similar to mine, you have to hold down shift as well. Alright, so this is where we are. I'll come here, duplicate this thing here. I'll drag the layer up because currently the layer is back. I will make sure it's on top, and then I'll enter and say LTEC. Let's do something like LTEC. Alright, so my battery is not enough. Alright, so I will just type in the social media handlers name. So let's just use LTEC Designs. I think this should do for now. Next is to move it to the appropriate location and reduce the size. Now when it comes to reducing size, just make sure that you're on your text. There are two ways to reduce the size. You either look for the properties bar, that is the text properties, that is by your right side here. You will see where the text font type, the size is. So you can either reduce it here, or you can as well select the text tool here and select your text. Use Ctrl A to mark everything, and then this text properties or text options appears at the top here, and you can reduce this place to reduce the fonts as well. So this is much more convenient. And also please take note that whichever tool you are using here, the properties always appears here on top while the tool is selected. Immediately you change the tool, another property appears. Okay, so there is no fixed tool there or fixed properties there. Is based on the tool you are using. So I'll adjust it and then duplicate it. Now there is another way of duplicating this. That method is taking or delaying you. You can just simply hold down your Alt and Shift. Alt plus Shift first. You select Alt first, then Shift. You will realize that your arrow button, your mouse arrow has now become double, the white and then the black. So just click and drag. Are you seeing? So I will do the same thing again for the third time, or second time rather. Alright, so as you can see, this is a lot more easier than the other method. So I'll just adjust the settings and the arrangement here. Alright, so and we are done. Now this is the particular design we've done so far. For your first design, I would say is not bad. Okay, so just follow me and reproduce similar thing, please, exactly as it is here. Please don't change anything, don't change color, follow the same concept and recreate this thing. Okay, tomorrow we'll be looking at your second design, another very interesting session. So if you have any question, you can always ask. If you are facing any challenge, you can always ask as well. I will encourage you to keep trying and keep following. As you can see, we are making progress. When you first join, you probably can't do anything like this in Photoshop. And today you are able to create this. I think this is a progress. So just stay with me. Before this project or this course is over, I'm sure you will know your way around Photoshop. See you in the next class. Hello, good day and welcome to today's session, and hope you all had a great weekend last week. So welcome to another week. So for this week we'll be looking at quite interesting things, and hopefully this week will be our last, and as such this week may be a bit intense as well. And likewise, there may be exercises a lot, and there might be other classes within the week, or if need be, we might even push for an extra week just so that we get proper grasp of the entire training. That's why our training is usually scheduled for either 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, well, our syllables are for 3 weeks, but sometimes it may need to extend with 1 week more. Alright, so for this week we will be looking at flyer design majorly, then logo design process, and then working with mockup, and then each of us will get his own final project exercise or assignment rather. So in today's class we'll be focusing on flyer design, and in this particular video we'll be looking at business card design. So we'll begin with business card design. So to get started, open your Photoshop. As usual, when setting the screen size or your workspace size, please ensure that you use this image size. This is the image size for business cards. So the width is 1750 and the height is 1000 and resolution is 300 as usual. Alright, so ensure that you leave it on CMK, that is color mode. Leave your color mode on CMK because who knows, you may decide to print it. We'll assume this is a work that will be printed, so you leave it on your CMK ground. So by default I'm sure you will have a white background. So let me draw the background of the workspace. So this will be your current screen. Alright, so we'll be working with some images as well. I've sent them to the group, or I've shared the link where you can get them, one of the two. Alright, so these are the images we'll be working, but before the images, let's begin properly. Alright, so for this class I will give a particular color. So we'll be learning a few other tricks in Photoshop as well, so just focus with me. So I will give a color. Alright, so I will be giving it a color. Let me pick something dark and use a bit clear. This should do. Alright, so the first trick we are going to be learning is how to create your own custom shape. So you first select your pen tool as usual, and then you come here. Normally it will be on part here, but select shape here. That means you are trying to create a custom shape. Alright, so what you do is you select the tool here, you keep a point there, keep another point here, come here, drag and hold. Please hold, drag it down a bit to create a little bit of curve, and then come here and drag and hold again to create curve as well. Alright, so I'll come to this place, I'll go down. See, it's outside the workspace, you don't need to really focus more on what is outside. I will do like this. Now if you observe carefully, you look at the layers here, automatically there is a shape being created called shape 1. Alright, this is now a custom shape, so you can just proceed, you can do anyhow to just, maybe you can make selection. This is what I do, and then I will now say Ctrl D as well. I already have the shape up here, so I don't really need to focus on the power, the marker, the points that I am creating. So I'll double click here and look for color for my shape. So I'll try something. Okay, so alright, so the shape is not as perfect as I want, So but you can focus on it when creating your own. That's for me what I'm doing. I'm just trying to ensure you get the class properly. So I'll leave it here, and I'll now double click this image by holding Alt and Shift. When the icon is active, I will drag it up. See, I have an extra one, so I will come and select any of the dots here. When you select it, it gives you room for more options. This is how you know if the options are going to be there. When you see this dot and cancel here, you just right click, you see options like flip horizontally and I'll flip vertically as well. Alright, so I'll now keep it somewhere here and then come up here. Okay, so I'll try to reduce the okay, I'm shifting it this way. I will do the same thing here, move it down a bit. Okay, so this one. Alright, so I think this should do for this particular training. So I have a shape here, simple shape. Oh, remember, like I said, there are a lot of ways to do. So the next thing I'll do is I'll look for the icon here, I'll click and hold, drag it to Photoshop and drop it. Okay, so I have it here. Alright, so what I'll do next is I don't like this text here. I will select this tool. Now this is an PNG image, that's why it came without a background. So I'll cut off this place. But remember, I told you before you can cut or edit any image properly, you have to rasterize. So I'll right click, rasterize layer, and then delete this part. Now you see, now it's gone. Alright, so now I have my image and I have the colors here. So I will adjust my work to fit the colors here. So maybe what I will do, I will maybe select black here. Black is too harsh. Okay, let me just stick with this color and just make it a little bit darker. Alright, I think this is a bit manageable. Alright, so maybe what I will do is I will select background image eraser and delete this black here. I think this is much better. Okay, so then this color here, now let me show you what I was trying to do the last time. Let's see if it works on image. I'll come to replace, color. I will select red color and replace it with this color. Let's see if it will work. Alright, so I see what I was trying to show in the last class, but then we realized it doesn't work well with image. So I see, so I'll reduce the size a bit, keep it somewhere like this, and then now this will be the front cover of the business card. Alright, so I'll select my text tool. So and I'll give the business name in full properly. So I will now type YD Studio. Okay. Okay, this looks so short, so let me make it a little bit. Photo Studio. Just wanted the name to be a little bit longer. Alright, so I'll leave it something like this. Come to color here and ensure that it has color that fits it well. Alright, so I'll reduce the size to, let's say, 18. 18 should do. As for here, the line spacing, I'll give it 100, should do, and then I'll reduce this size. Okay, so there it is. We have the cover here a bit. So maybe what I will do is, I don't like the way this edge here is a bit big, so I will do something. Now since I'm done with the color here, I can rasterize the shape so that I'll be able to cut out part of it. And I'll select the pen tool. I'll make sure I select part now and keep a mark here, and then do something like this. Okay, and I'll do something like this. Let me see, make selection. Okay, I think this is much better for me. Is it better? Should be. Okay, so let me just temper with it. You can actually zoom it to see what you are doing well. So I'll make sure it's on the cycle, on the dot center. So I will select it here, Now there is a tool here we call curve. It's for curving. Keep another point. I'll come here. Okay, by default it should create a curve, a beautiful curve. Okay, so it's not giving me what I want, so I'll just select normal and do it manually. Reverse, voice are not smile. Alright, so I'll do doing what I want myself. I think this is okay. Alright, so this should do. Alright, so this should do. This is much better, and I can duplicate it actually. Okay, and then delete this one. I will ensure I select the knot here, flip horizontally, and then flip vertically, and then move it here. Okay, so I'll leave the entire thing here. I'll select this and ensure it's on the center. Is it? I'm not sure. I think this is center. Alright, so I'll leave it here, and then maybe come here just to make it a bit interesting. Select rectangle. I will pick this color and do something like this, so that it doesn't look so dull throughout. So I will drop one here. I will duplicate and drop another one here. So I have two here. This is much better. Okay, so we are done with the front. You can come here, but then it's, it should, a business should have a little bit, should have a bit of idea of what you do. So I'll come here, duplicate this, change it to light, reduce the size to 14 and 17, or 10 rather. I can come here and see photography, give it a white color. Okay, and we are done. So I can give it 200. Okay, so I'll reduce the spacing to 50. Alright, so I think this should do. Make it 600. You can actually go over the board beyond what is there, just keep increasing the number. There is no certain limit to okay, so I think this is okay. And just click again. Alright, so what I will do, what I usually do is that you can have multiple designs here. I was supposed to show you something, but I think I already missed that chance. So what I will do is I will right click and come and mark it here, and then right click and then come to group layers, and then I'll say front cover. Okay, so we are done, and now I can now do something. I can duplicate it so that I will create the black back from it. You duplicate the group, you hide the first one, and duplicate the name and say black sorry, back cover. Alright, so we have two of them. So what I will do is that we'll start redesigning the second one. As for the second one, for the back, I don't need this, so I'll delete it. And then there is this, I will delete it. And then the logo, this and this as well, I'll reduce the size and move it somewhere here. Okay, so as for this, I will shift it a little bit inside, or I'll hold down shift here and extend it this way. Alright, so that's the style I want to use. I'll reduce it and drag it a bit. I'll come here, reduce the size, extend it as well. I'll do it to match. Want it to match the content here. As such, I would have to increase this one as well. Alright, so we have it. So the next thing I will do is I will create another rectangle here. Wow, this is almost 20 minutes. So let's do something like this. Come to the color under properties and give it this color. Drag for more option. And if you realize, if you observe there is some curve here, you ensure it's on 0. Please make the edges straight and it looks perfectly straight. So you have something like this. Alright, so you can shift this one a bit, so this place will be for other things. So we'll come to this place and say the name of the person. There's always name. Okay, there's always name. So I'll come here, I'll duplicate this, give it 14, remove the spacing, so give it white color, and then come here, which name, which name do we use? Well, let me use this name, Daniel Kita Bola. But more people should be familiar with this type of name. Alright, so I have the name of the CEO, not composer, as the CEO. So I have somebody's name here. I'll come to this place, come to this particular place, click and say photographer, but let me just make it interesting. Lead photographer. I'll reduce it to 12 properly. Okay, so I'll reduce the bold here to normal, regular. Sorry, my voice is low. I hope it's not. Alright, so let's have something like this. Let's have something like this. Alright, so we have that. So the next thing we should have here are the important things. How do I get in contact? I'll hold down shift and create some cycles here. So I'll create 1, 2, alright, so I'll reduce the size. Keep them somewhere like this. Now this will be for contact, address, location, email if need be, etc. Okay, so I'll come here and I'll say, let me do something brief. Alright, so I'll just come here and say something. Or I'll come to outline, leave it white. Alright, so let me make some decision changes. So I'll come to this side. I'll carry two things here. I'll drop them here. Okay, so I'll come here and then I'll come here. I duplicate it and turn it to regular. Reduce the size to 10. Alright, so just reason, just I'll look for something and just say wedding photo shoot. Or they shoot program shoots modeling etc. Alright, so I will ensure I use automatic here. I think it will be more better. Okay, so I'll keep it somewhere like this. I'll drag this down. I'll duplicate this text here. Now it's behind this layer, so I'll click the layer here, come to this place up. There should be a straight line when it's moving. I see. So when you're at the top final stage, you can drop it. Now it's on top of everything, and I will write our services. Okay, so I'll reduce the line spacing here to normal thing. Let's say 200. I will increase the size. Alright, so let's use 100 here. Should we use white? Let's use white. Let's change to the outline to this color. Alright, so is this okay? So I can come here as well. I can come here and give it white as well. So this entire thing I can make it a little bit, reduce the opacity a bit, so that it has a different text. With photographer. Okay, so let me adjust the modeling here. The shape is this. I think there should be another one. Photoshop, do product. Let's give another one, product snap, product shoots. Product stock, business shoots. So I'll tap these, move it down a bit, so that I can tap these, and move it tap down a bit, so I can just increase this length to match up, so that it will match up everything here. Alright, so that it will match up everything here. Go closer.